In previous video, we have discussed psychology as a discipline. Today, we will be looking into psychology and other disciplines. Psychology has a relation with almost all other academic disciplines, and the reason for it lies in the fact that psychology deals with improvement in human behavior. And this is a basic science. And all other disciplines have something or the other to do with the human being, their improvement and enhancement of their happiness. So, it obviously has a relation with other fields. Philosophy, medicine and psychiatry, sociology, education, economics, computer science, architecture and engineering, law and criminology, music and fine arts, mass communication, and political science. Here, I have marked the first letter of each word in green color. So, combining all these letters, we can make a mnemonic and it will help you remember things easily. If you combine the first letters, it will look like PM, C, CALM, MP. PM, C, CALM, MP. So, by hearting this thing, you will be able to remember each words. So, before going to the details, please remember to subscribe the channel. Thank you. We'll start with philosophy. Psychology is derived from philosophy. Both philosophy and psychology share common topics. What are they? Sensation, perception, intelligence, and memory. During the chapter Evolution of Psychology, we have learned that it is evolved from philosophy. Until mid-1800, psychology was studied under philosophy. Most of the psychological theories are based on the view of many famous philosophers, and these theories are still valid in present times. So, the psychology have the roots in philosophy. Many prominent philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates tried to explore various topics like pain, pleasure, mental illness, and wisdom that today we consider as a part of psychology. All these things the earlier philosophers studied under philosophy. Now it is considered under, or it is a part of, psychology. So that is the relation of psychology with philosophy. Then comes medicine or psychiatry. It is known that psychology and medicine share the same goal. What is it? The well-being of people. So psychology and medicine have the same goal. Then we know that the emotional state influences physical state, and vice versa. That is, the physical state influences the emotional state also. This direct relationship is what we call the mind-body connection. The role of psychologists in preventing people from engaging in health hazardous behavior and in adhering to the prescribed doctor's regimen are some of the important areas where the two disciplines have come together. That is, the psychologists work to prevent the people from engaging in hazardous behavior, and they want the people to adhere to the doctor's regimen. Next is sociology. Sociology and psychology may study behavior. Both these sciences study the behavior, but through different lenses. Both the disciplines require similar skill such as critical thinking and reasoning, conducting and analyzing quantitative and qualitative research, and having the ability to communicate clearly, both verbally and in writing. Then comes education. The education discipline involves teaching, learning, examination, extracurricular activities, and modifying the behavior of children to improve their personality and develop their strength, and psychological principle help to achieve it. So many things are done under the education. For all these things, that is for learning, for the examination, even the extracurricular activities, whatever it is, to improve the child's behavior, to develop their strength, what the education system take, the psychological principle. They incorporate the psychological principle to achieve all those desired benefits. The use of psychology in teaching can improve the children's power of learning and increase their imagination, memory, attention, and thinking skills. So, by using the technique of psychology in learning, certain skills of the students are improved. Now, let's see the role of psychology in economics. Psychology plays an important role in understanding the economic behavior of both producer and consumer. So, to understand the behavior of the producer and the consumer, psychological techniques are used in economics. The psychology is closely linked with the economy, as various economic factors like income, poverty, basic facilities, and lifestyle directly influence the human behavior. So psychology study the human behavior, and this human behavior is influenced by various economic factors. So the psychological technique is used to study the human behavior in relation with the economic. Then computer science. The most common fields where psychology and computer science meet are cognitive science, human-computer interaction, bioinformatics, and artificial intelligence. So in these fields, the psychology and the computer science overlap. Then psychoinformatics. It is an emerging discipline or a new discipline. It uses the tools and techniques from the computer and information science. For what? To improve the acquisition, organization, synthesis of human psychological data. So all these things, that is acquisition, organization, and synthesis of the human psychological data, the tools and techniques from the computer and information science is used. Now let's see how psychology is related to architecture and engineering. The design of any physical space. It heavily influences the psyche of people inhabiting or visiting that space. How? In shaping their decisions, attitudes, and behavior. In simple words, a person's behavior is influenced by the space they are inhabiting or visiting. A home is perceived as safe and intimate. It provides significant psychosocial benefits. It represents a private sanctuary and develops a sense of identity and attachment. It is obvious that we all are very much attached to our home. There are many indoor factors such as the thermal and lighting aspect, the moisture, air quality, noise, radiation, or chemical compounds that affect the psychological impact of the space. That is the outdoor factors, and the indoor factors or the interior design of a building or your house, whatever it is, office space, it affects psychologically. It influences the behavior of a person. So the architect or an engineer, they will take into consideration all these things while constructing. Law and criminology. Psychology seeks to understand and explain human behavior. That is, psychology understands human behavior while law seeks to regulate the human behavior. The one part explain human behavior and the law part regulate the human behavior. Psychological researchers can affect the law in several ways. For example, police psychologists work in police agencies. Prison psychologists work in correctional institutions, and expert witness provides information to the courts. So this is how a psychology is related to law or criminology. Music and fine arts. How psychology is related to it. Using modern brain mapping technology and sophisticated research techniques, it may be possible to identify and control the effects of music on the brain, leading to possible benefits to those with mental and even some physical problem. In short, people with mental or physical problem are get benefited from music therapy. Then study that combines the psychological elements with artistic one is art therapy. So people who listen the music or who are engaged in any kind of fine art, what happens is like uh, these things allows the release of certain hormones like dopamine, endorphin and oxytocin. These are happiness hormones. So the people who have mental or physical problem are get relieved by the music and the fine arts. Next is mass communication. The role of media in influencing the cognition, attitude as well as behavior of the society members remains inevitable, and that is obvious during the COVID-19 situation. Watching the news for a long time, people get nervous, people get scared, and some people get into depression and all. So the media can affect the behavior of the people. Then cultural changes that happens through mass media are always interrelated with psychology. The communication which happens through mass media start with a human as a sender and ends with another human as receiver. So in both end human beings are there. Therefore, psychology is unconditionally affecting on mass media. Political science. The political psychology is an interdisciplinary field of inquiry concerned with the analysis of political thought and behavior of individuals within politically organized communities. That is, it studies the behavior of people in politics. The key topics in political psychology include political beliefs and values, cognitive processes in political decision making, political communication, media effects, political rhetoric, that is the study of writing and speaking. Then international conflict, racism and prejudice, then ethnic identities and collective action. All these things are studied under the political psychology. So this is all about the psychology and other disciplines. And remember the mnemonics. What was it? PM, C, CALM, MP. The first letter of each word. Please share the video. Thank you and keep smiling.